It was our first family vacation in the mountains. Jane had been dreaming about it all year, carefully planning the routes. Her mother, Olivia, initially refused to go. Why would I, at 50, be climbing mountains? But her daughter insisted. "Mom, you're a former gymnast in great shape. Besides, these are easy routes." And indeed, Olivia looked remarkable for her age. Slim, fit, with short hair and lively brown eyes. I often caught surprised glances from other tourists when she called Jane her daughter. That morning, Jane woke up with a migraine. "Damn pressure!" She massaged her temples. "I'll have to stay in the cabin." "I can stay too," Olivia offered. No, you go. Chris knows the route. I've discussed it with him 100 times. Just a couple of hours there and back." The trail started right from our tourist cabin. An easy ascent, then a viewing platform overlooking the valley. What could go wrong? "Beautiful morning," Olivia noted when we left. She wore tight trekking pants and a fleece jacket. "Yes, though the clouds are getting thicker. Think it'll rain?" "Unlikely. Forecast shows precipitation only in the evening." We walked in silence, each lost in our thoughts. Sometimes I held branches aside, letting her go ahead, or offered my hand on steep sections. She smelled of some mountain herbs. "It's beautiful here." She stopped to catch her breath. "Haven't felt this alive in a long time." "Since the divorce?" "Yes, sometimes it feels like life ends when your husband leaves. Then you realize it's only beginning." I couldn't help but admire her, flushed from walking, with strands of hair escaped from her hairstyle. "What?" She caught my glance. "Nothing, just you really are in great shape." "For my age," she smirked. "For any age." An awkward pause fell. Thunder rumbled somewhere in the distance. "Maybe we should head back?" Concern crept into her voice. "No, we're almost there. See that path up ahead? That's where the viewing platform is." We continued climbing. The wind picked up, clouds covering the sky. I increasingly caught myself watching too intently how her body moved ahead of me. "Chris," she stopped. "Are you sure we're on the right path? I don't remember such steep climbs in the route description." I looked around. The trail had indeed become less obvious. "Maybe we can cut through there." I pointed to a gap between the trees. "I don't know. Jane said to strictly stick to the marked trail. Everything will be fine. I'm good at orienteering in the mountains." That was my first mistake. The first raindrops caught up with us half an hour later. The trail had almost disappeared, turning into a barely visible animal track. "Chris," Olivia stopped, taking off her backpack. "Admit it, we're lost." "No, just slightly off course." "So where do we go now?" I took out my phone. No signal, no GPS. The rain intensified, turning into a downpour. Olivia wrapped herself in her wet fleece, drops streaming down her face. "We need to find shelter," I tried to sound confident. "Wait out the rain. And then Jane will go crazy with worry." "She has the rescue service number. If we don't return by evening, she knows what to do." Thunder crashed very close. Olivia flinched, instinctively pressing against me. Her wet hair smelled of rain and those same mountain herbs. "Look!" She pointed to the right. "There's something like a path." Indeed, a packed trail was visible among the trees. We moved along it, soaked to the bone. The wind strengthened, chilling us to the core. "Cold," Olivia's teeth were chattering. "Hold on to me." I put my arm around her shoulders. Warmer together. Her body trembled under my arm. Wet clothes clung to her figure, and I tried not to think about how distinctly I could feel every curve. "There!" she suddenly exclaimed. "Is that a cabin?" Through the curtain of rain, the outline of a small structure emerged, a mountain refuge, one of the shelters set up for tourists caught in bad weather. "Thank God!" Olivia exhaled when we reached the door. Inside it was dry and relatively warm. Simple furnishings, a couple of bunks, a table, a potbelly stove. In the corner, a wood pile. "Need to make a fire." I started stacking wood. "And take off wet clothes, otherwise we'll catch cold." "What?" She froze. "I have a spare t-shirt and sweater in my backpack. They'll be big on you, but better than wet clothes." Olivia hesitated. I turned to the stove. "Not looking. Scout's honor." There was a rustle of clothes being removed. I focused on lighting the fire, trying not to think about what was happening behind my back. "Done." Her voice sounded unexpectedly close. I turned around and froze. My sweater reached to the middle of her thighs. Her wet hair was tousled. In the uncertain light of the growing fire, she seemed amazingly young and vulnerable. "Now you." She turned away. "Don't want you getting sick, too." I quickly changed into dry clothes. The fire had caught, filling the room with warmth and cozy crackling. How long do you think we'll be here? Olivia settled by the stove, pulling her knees to her chest. Outside, the storm raged. About 3 hours remained until darkness. Possibly until morning, I sat beside her. Better not to risk it in this weather. She sighed unsteadily. Jane won't forgive me if something happens to you. To me? What about you? I'm just her mother, and you're not just a mother, the words escaped on their own. You're an amazing woman. Silence fell, broken only by the crackling of logs and the sound of rain. Olivia stared into the fire, her profile in the flames' reflection seeming painted. Don't say that, she finally spoke. It's dangerous. Why? Because I'm starting to believe it. She shivered, and I instinctively moved closer, embracing her shoulders. Her hair smelled of smoke and that same mountain freshness. Cold, my voice was hoarse. Not anymore. Her body was warm under my sweater. I could feel how fast her heart was beating. You know, she whispered, sometimes I catch your glances. Think I don't notice? Sorry. For what? For seeing me as a woman, not just Jane's mother? She turned to me, flames reflected in her eyes. Olivia! Shh! She pressed a finger to my lips. No words. The first kiss was light, almost weightless. The second, more confident. And then time stopped. The sweater slipped from her shoulders, revealing velvet skin. My fingers glided over the curves of her body, memorizing every line. Her hands wandered over my chest, caressing, exploring. The fire in the stove burned brighter, casting golden glints upon us. Her whispers blended with the sound of rain. The old bunk creaked, but we noticed nothing. Only mutual attraction, only passion, washing over us like a wave. Time lost meaning. There were only the two of us, only this night, only this mountain refuge that became witness to our madness. Afterwards, we lay covered by my jacket. Olivia rested her head on my chest, her fingers drawing patterns on my skin. What are you thinking about? I asked, running my fingers through her hair. About how I've never felt so alive. What else? About how tomorrow morning will come. There was sadness in her voice. I held her tighter. Don't think about tomorrow. What should I think about? About us? Here, now. She propped herself up on her elbow, looked into my eyes. Do you regret it? Instead of answering, I kissed her, and time stopped again. Outside, the rain continued to fall, but we no longer heard it. There were only touches, whispers, passion, and somewhere deep inside, the understanding that morning would change everything. The first rays of sunlight broke through the gaps in the shutters. Olivia slept, curled up beside me. In the morning light, the traces of our passion seemed unreal. Scattered clothes, the rumpled bunk, the cooled stove. What time is it? She opened her eyes, and reality crashed down upon us. 6 a.m. I checked my phone. Signal had returned. 20 missed calls from Jane. Olivia sat up abruptly, clutching the jacket to her chest. God, what have we done? Olivia. No, don't say anything. Just be quiet. She started hurriedly dressing. Her clothes from yesterday had dried, but looked wrinkled. I watched her trying to put herself in order, feeling the wall growing between us. We need to call Jane, she said, avoiding my gaze. Wait, we need to talk. About what? About how I slept with my daughter's husband? About what a terrible mother I am? You're not terrible. Really? She finally looked at me. Then who am I? A woman who seduced her son-in-law in a mountain refuge? It wasn't like that. Then how was it? We both know what happened, and we know it can never happen again. I stood up, approached her. What if I don't want to forget? Don't, she stepped back. Don't make this harder than it is. It's already harder. You felt the same thing I did. And what? You think we can live with this? Look Jane in the eyes? At that moment, the phone rang again. Jane. Hello? Honey, we're okay? My voice sounded fake. Yes, had to wait out the storm in a mountain refuge. No, everything's fine. Your mom's okay. We're heading back now. Olivia was packing her backpack, carefully avoiding my gaze. We should go, she said, shouldering her backpack. Wait. No, Chris, what happened last night stays last night. You have a family, my daughter. Let's just forget. She went out first. The sun flooded the mountains as if yesterday's storm had never happened. Nature held no traces of our madness. Only the scent of mountain herbs in her hair haunted me all the way back. No more mountain hikes. Jane hugged us each in turn. I almost went crazy with worry. Sorry, sweetheart. Olivia stroked her daughter's back. We just got lost. The main thing is everything turned out okay. I tried not to look at my mother-in-law. The refuge came in very handy. And how did you spend the night there? Olivia and I flinched simultaneously. Fine. She turned away, pretending to look for something in her backpack. It was warm. I can imagine how cold you must have been. I'll go make some hot tea. When Jane went to the kitchen, Olivia looked at me. We need to act more natural. I'm trying. Not hard enough. You look at me too often. And you too deliberately avoid looking at me. She bit her lip. This is harder than I thought. What exactly? Pretending nothing happened, that I don't remember every touch, every kiss. Olivia. No, be quiet. I shouldn't have said that. The following days turned into torture. Every family dinner, every chance encounter in the kitchen. We carefully avoided touching, but the air between us crackled with tension. Mom, you seem distracted, Jane noticed one day. You haven't been yourself since that night in the mountains. Just tired. Probably caught a bit of a cold. Maybe Chris could drive you to the doctor. No, we answered in unison. Jane gave us a strange look. What's going on with you? You used to get along so well, but now it's like you're avoiding each other. You're imagining things. Olivia hastily stood up from the table. Just lots of impressions from the trip. In the evening, she sent a message. We need to talk tomorrow alone. Where? At the gas station cafe. At 10. I couldn't sleep all night, remembering her scent, her touches, her whispers in the darkness of the refuge. The gas station cafe was almost empty. Olivia sat at a far table, nervously turning a coffee cup. She wore the same dress as the day we left for the mountains. I'm leaving, she said instead of a greeting. Where to? To Florida, to my sister, for good. Because of me. Because of us, she finally raised her eyes. I can't do this, Chris. Can't pretend. Every time I see you with Jane, it kills me. And it kills me to see you and not be able to touch you. That's exactly why I'm leaving. We shouldn't. I know. She took out an envelope. Already bought the ticket for next week. What will you tell Jane? That I'm tired of being alone. That I want to start a new life. And isn't this loneliness running away? Better this than fighting myself every day, fighting this attraction. Her fingers trembled as she lifted the cup to her lips. I remembered the taste of those lips, their softness, their passion. You know, she put down the cup, I never thought at my age one could go so crazy, want someone so much. Olivia! No, let me finish. What happened in the refuge, it was beautiful, magical, but it was a fairy tale, and now we need to return to reality. Well, what if I don't want to? You think I want to? Her voice broke. But we have no choice. Jane doesn't deserve such betrayal. She stood up. Goodbye, Chris. Take care of my girl. Wait. But she was already walking to the exit. At the door, she turned. You know what's the scariest part? I don't regret it. Not a single minute of that night. A week later, Olivia flew away. Jane cried but supported her mother's decision. She deserves happiness. And I keep in my memory the scent of mountain herbs, the crackling of logs in the stove, and the taste of kisses from that stormy night. Sometimes when it rains, I feel like I can still feel her touches. They say mountains change people. Our mountains changed us forever. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.